Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CISSP Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the ISC Squared CISSP exam with focused explanations and practical context. In this episode, we focus on multi-factor authentication, or MFA. This security measure plays a pivotal role in modern access control. As digital environments become more distributed and cyber threats more sophisticated, relying on a single method of authentication, such as a password, is no longer sufficient. MFA helps bridge that gap by requiring users to present two or more independent forms of identification before being granted access to a system or service. Authentication factors fall into a few well-established categories. The first is something you know. This could be a password, PIN, or secret question. The second is something you have, such as a hardware token, smart card, or mobile authenticator app. The third is something you are. These are biometric traits like fingerprints, iris patterns, or facial recognition. Two additional but less common factors are somewhere you are, which relies on geographic location or IP address, and something you do, such as typing cadence or behavior-based patterns. MFA works by combining at least two of these factors. This dramatically increases the difficulty for an attacker to gain unauthorized access, even if one factor is compromised. For example, if an attacker steals a password, that alone won't be enough if a second factor, like a mobile authenticator, is required. Let's look more closely at the key components of multi-factor authentication. First, the knowledge factor. This is the oldest and most familiar form of authentication, passwords and PINs. But as we know, users often choose weak passwords, reuse them across systems, or fall for phishing attacks. That's why knowledge factors alone are not enough. Second, we have the possession factor. This includes physical items like a one-time password token, a smartphone with an authentication app, or a smart card. Possession factors are stronger because they require the attacker to physically obtain or clone the item. Third, we have biometric or inherence factors. This is what makes you uniquely you, such as your fingerprint or voice. These are difficult to replicate, but not immune to attack. For instance, facial recognition systems have been bypassed in the past using high-quality photos or 3D models. Still, biometric factors provide high assurance when used properly. Fourth, location factors can be used to restrict access to certain geographic areas. This might include blocking access requests from outside your organization's network or limiting logins to specific countries. While useful, location-based controls are usually considered supplementary. Combining two or more of these factors creates a layered defense that significantly improves your security posture. Now let's discuss the benefits and strategic importance of MFA. First, and most importantly, MFA reduces the risk of credential-based attacks. Phishing, credential stuffing, brute force attacks, these are all dramatically less effective when a second authentication factor is required. Second, MFA improves compliance. Many regulatory frameworks, including GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, and NIST standards, recommend or require MFA for certain systems. If your organization handles sensitive personal or financial data, implementing MFA helps meet these mandates and demonstrate good faith security practices. Third, MFA enhances incident detection and response. By analyzing second-factor failures or out-of-pattern authentication attempts, security teams can spot suspicious behavior earlier and respond more effectively. Fourth, MFA builds user trust. When users see that a system requires strong verification, they gain confidence that their data is being protected. This is especially important in customer-facing services like online banking, healthcare portals, and cloud storage platforms. And finally, MFA strengthens your business continuity. In the event of a phishing attack or password breach, MFA acts as a final line of defense, preventing unauthorized users from accessing critical systems and slowing the spread of compromise. For more cyber books and security guides, don't forget to visit cyberauthor.me. Next, let's examine what it takes to implement effective MFA practices. Start with policy documentation. clearly defined which systems require MFA, which user groups are subject to it, and what authentication methods are acceptable. For example, you may decide that administrators must use a smart card plus biometric login, while general employees can use a mobile authenticator app. Select MFA methods that match your risk profile and user needs. For instance, a bank may use hardware tokens for high-value transactions, while a marketing firm might opt for push-based mobile apps for convenience. Integration is another key concern. EMFA systems must seamlessly integrate with identity providers, directory services like Active Directory or LDAP, and access management platforms. The smoother the experience, the more likely users are to comply. User education is critical. Train employees to understand why MFA is important, how to use it, and how to recognize MFA phishing attempts, where attackers replicate login portals to capture second-factor information. Finally, provide user-friendly fallback options, such as recovery codes or temporary access via help desk, in case a user loses access to their second factor. Now let's talk about the security controls that support robust MFA deployments. Always use strong, modern authentication protocols, such as OAuth 2.0, SAML, OpenID Connect, and Kerberos, to prevent token hijacking or session replay. Monitor authentication events in real time. If you see a user logging in with valid credentials from New York and then 5 minutes later from Eastern Europe, that's a red flag. Behavioral analytics tools can help here. Keep your MFA software, tokens, and platforms fully patched. Attackers are constantly looking for flaws in authenticator apps, browser plugins, and token generators. Regular updates help reduce this risk. Implement comprehensive logging. You should be able to trace every login attempt, success or failure, and understand what factors were used. Logs help with both forensic analysis and compliance reporting. And always secure the storage of biometric data or token seed values. These are just as sensitive as passwords, possibly more so, because they're tied to a person's physical identity and cannot be changed. Now let's turn to continuous improvement in MFA management. No system is perfect, and cyber threats are constantly evolving. You should be regularly conducting security assessments of your MFA deployments. Are there gaps in enforcement? Are users finding workarounds? Are help desk personnel verifying identity thoroughly before issuing overrides? Review any incidents or access violations to see if MFA was bypassed, misconfigured, or insufficiently enforced. Was a privileged user able to log in with just a password? That's a policy or technical failure that needs remediation. Stay current with regulatory requirements and industry standards. For example, U.S. federal systems now follow Executive Order 1428, which mandates zero trust principles and MFA across agencies. Other industries are following suit. Collaborate across teams, from IT, HR, legal, and compliance, to ensure that MFA practices are consistent, enforceable, and understood by everyone involved. Finally, continue user training. A well-informed workforce is your best defense. Teach employees to recognize fake MFA prompts, avoid shared credentials, and report anomalies immediately. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cyber CISSP Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.